Feel that in your body for a moment. Do not search for it. Just notice what is already there. Beneath the noise of your day, beneath the list of tasks still waiting for your attention, there is a quiet, a strange and unfamiliar stillness that has settled deep in your bones since you woke this morning. Perhaps you felt it as a slowness, a desire to stay submerged in sleep just a moment longer. Perhaps you felt it as a pressure behind your eyes, not of a headache, but of tears that have no name and no reason. Or perhaps it is a subtle hum in your solar plexus, a resonance that feels like the echo of a great bell that was struck somewhere very far away while you were sleeping. You may have dismissed it as fatigue, as stress, as the simple weight of being alive in a world that never stops demanding. But I am here to tell you that what you are feeling is not random. It is not a symptom of your personal life alone. It is evidence. It is the physical residue of a cosmic event that completed its work in the deepest hours of last night. While you slept, the universe hit a quiet and profound reset. A wave of immense grace, sourced from the very end of the zodiacal ocean, washed through the collective field. It was not a violent flood. It was a solvent, a great and gentle dissolving, and its sole purpose was to erase something from your past that you could no longer carry. This is not a metaphor. This is a spiritual and energetic reality. The astrological signature for this event, a gathering of forces in the final degrees of Pisces, has not been seen with this particular intensity in your lifetime, and it will not be seen again. Pisces is the last sign. It is the great dissolution. It is the cosmic ocean into which all rivers, all stories, all triumphs, and all wounds must eventually flow to be rendered back into their essential nature. It is the space before the beginning, the silence before the first word, and for a few crucial hours, a gate opened in that cosmic ocean, and an undertow of grace reached back through your timeline. It was searching for a very specific kind of burden. Not the lessons, not the wisdom you earned. It was searching for the contracts written in invisible ink, the debts you were told you owed, and the ghosts you had come to believe were a part of you. Over the next few minutes, I am going to walk you through exactly what was erased. Because this freedom is not automatic. The cage door has been dissolved, but you must be the one to realize you can walk out. You must consciously understand what has been lifted so that you do not try to pick it up again out of habit. So breathe with me now. Inhale that strange quietness in your body, and exhale the belief that it is meaningless. That was not fatigue. That was the tide going out, and it took something with it. To understand what has happened, you have to understand the nature of Pisces, not as a personality type you read about in horoscopes, but as a fundamental force of creation. The ancient Chaldean stargazers looked at this patch of sky, and they did not see two fish. They saw the sea, the great celestial ocean. For them, it was the part of the sky that held the memory of the primordial waters from which all life emerged. It was the end and the beginning simultaneously. The Vedic rishis of ancient India called the 12th house, the house of Pisces, the place of moksha, of spiritual liberation. It was the final release, the dissolving of the ego, the return to source. They understood that all karmic accounts, all worldly attachments, eventually had to be settled and released in these waters. What occurred last night was a rare and sacred confluence. Imagine a planetary alignment not as balls of rock and gas in space, but as divine musicians striking cosmic tuning forks. Last night, several of these tuning forks, including the ruler of Pisces itself, struck a chord that resonated with the frequency of absolution, of forgiveness, of release. It created a wave, a ripple through the etheric field that permeates all things. This wave was a kind of spiritual solvent, capable of dissolving the most stubborn energetic structures. It moved through the world silently, seeking out patterns of energy that were anchored in the past, but were no longer serving the evolution of the soul. This is not an energy of destruction. Fire destroys, earth buries, air scatters, water, in its highest Piscean expression, dissolves. It does not break the chain. It causes the metal of the links to lose their integrity until they simply fall away as dust. It does not shatter the dam. It seeps into the microscopic cracks until the entire structure becomes one with the water it was holding back. This process is silent. It is gentle, and it is utterly complete. The energy did not target events. It cannot erase what happened. The past is a fact. But it can, and it did, erase the emotional and energetic charge that has kept you tethered to those events. It dissolved the hook, even if the memory of the wound remains. The memory is now just a story. It is no longer a live wire. You have been feeling this in your own body because your body is 70% water. You are a small ocean, walking. Your cells, your blood, your lymphatic system, they heard the call of the great ocean. They resonated with this wave of dissolution. That feeling of wanting to weep for no reason? That is the salt water in you recognizing the salt water of the cosmos. It is the cellular memory of release. That strange lightness you may feel in your jaw, your shoulders, your hips. These are the places the body stores old stories, old fights, old griefs. The hips, in particular, are the basin of the body, the place where we store the waters of unprocessed emotion. If you have felt an ache there, a release, a sudden need to stretch in a new way, this is not a new injury. It is the feeling of a deeply held tension finally dissolving. It is the ice melting after a long, long winter. Think of a contract, written long ago on a heavy piece of parchment. A contract you signed when you were younger, more naive, more desperate for love or belonging. The contract might have said, "I will make myself small so that others can feel big," or, "I will carry the unspoken sadness of my family," or, "I will never trust my own intuition again because of this one time it led to pain." You did not sign it with a pen. You signed it with a decision, with a vow made in a moment of pain or fear. And you have been living under the terms of that contract ever since. It has dictated your choices, limited your breath, and narrowed your path. What this Piscean wave did was wash over that parchment. It did not tear it up. It simply dissolved the ink. The contract is now blank. The terms are gone. The signature has vanished. You are still holding the parchment, out of habit, but there is nothing written on it anymore. You are free from its terms. This is the first and most profound thing that was erased from your past, the invisible contracts that have been defining your present. The debt of expectation has been cleared. The promises you made to a version of yourself that no longer exists, the promises you made to others who are no longer on your path. The energetic signature of those vows has been neutralized. It is done. You might feel this as a sudden confusion about your purpose. You might wake up and look at a job, a relationship, or a daily routine and feel a profound sense of, "What am I doing here? This is not mine." This is not a crisis. This is a confirmation. It is the part of you that knows the contract is now void, looking at a life that was built entirely on its old terms. The foundation has dissolved. And while that may feel terrifying for a moment, I need you to understand it is the greatest gift you could possibly receive. You have been given a clean slate. You now have the terrifying, brilliant, sacred opportunity to write a new contract with yourself, for yourself. A contract based not on fear or obligation, but on the truth of who you are today. The second thing that was erased is more subtle, and it is the ghost of an old identity. For many of you, your sense of self has been profoundly shaped by something that is now over. A long-term relationship, a career that defined you, a role in your family, perhaps as the caretaker or the problem solver. Even when these things end, they leave behind a phantom limb. You still move through the world as if you are that person. You make decisions as if you are still one half of that couple. You speak as if you still hold that job title. You react to your family as if you are still playing that old, tired role. You keep reaching for an identity that is no longer there, and the ache of its absence has become a constant, low-grade pain in your soul. This Piscean reset was a deep healing for that phantom pain. It washed away the energetic residue of that old self. It helped your soul to finally, fully accept that the limb is gone, and in doing so, it has stopped the pain. This is why you might feel a sense of disorientation, a feeling of being untethered. It's because you are. You have been unhooked from a past version of yourself. The world may still try to see you as that person, but the internal energetic anchor is gone. You are no longer defined by what you have lost. You are no longer haunted by who you used to be. There is an ancient Sumerian story, one of the oldest we have, about the goddess Inanna. She was the queen of heaven, powerful, adorned, certain of her identity. But to become whole, she had to descend into the underworld, the great below. And at each of the 7 gates to the underworld, the gatekeeper demanded she remove one piece of her royal attire, one symbol of her power, her crown, her jewels, her royal robe. By the time she reached the final gate, she was naked, stripped of everything that defined her in the world above. She was no longer a queen. She was just a soul, raw and essential. This was not a punishment. It was a purification. She had to release every layer of her old identity to meet the deepest truth of herself. You have just passed through a gate like that. You did not choose it, but the cosmos chose it for you. This Piscean wave was the gatekeeper, and it did not ask for your permission. It simply removed an old robe you were wearing, an old crown you had forgotten was even on your head. It has left you a little more naked, a little more raw, a little more essential. And now, you stand at a threshold, feeling the unfamiliar air on your skin, and you have a choice. You can mourn the loss of the old, comfortable robe, or you can take a step forward into the mystery, knowing that you are finally free to be seen for who you are, not for who you were. And this brings us to the most difficult part of this transmission, the part that requires your deepest honesty, because this erasure also creates a confrontation. Let us speak of the person you are still performing for, the relationship that has expired, but you continue to animate with your energy, the lie you have been telling yourself about what you need, about what you want, about what is no longer acceptable. You know what it is. You know who it is. As I speak these words, a name, a face, a situation is rising in your mind. Do not push it away. Let it be here. For years, perhaps, you have been bound to this, by guilt, by obligation, by fear of what would happen if you finally spoke the unnamed truth. You have organized your life around a silence. You have contorted your own soul to avoid a necessary confrontation. And the energy of that contortion has been a constant drain on your life force. This Piscean event has erased the cosmic and karmic justification for that bond. The energetic glue that held it together has dissolved. The ancient debt, real or imagined, has been paid in full by this act of cosmic grace. The question is no longer, can I leave? The question is, will I accept my freedom? The universe has done its part. It has cut the energetic cord. But the physical cord, the conversational cord, the behavioral cord, that is still in your hands. You may find in the coming days that the effort of maintaining the performance is suddenly unbearable. The words of the old script will feel like ash in your mouth. The smile will feel like a mask made of lead. This is the sign. This is the confirmation that the energetic support for the old dynamic is gone. You are now trying to hold up a 2-ton weight all by yourself, where before, some unseen karmic force was helping you. You cannot sustain it. You are not meant to. Your work now is to align your actions with the freedom that has already been granted to you. It is time to have the conversation. It is time to walk away. It is time to speak the truth, first to yourself, and then, when you are ready, to them. This is the moment of courage that this entire cosmic event has been preparing you for. Finally, the third and most intimate thing that was erased is the stain. The stain of a mistake you have never been able to forgive yourself for. We all have one. A moment of failure, a moment of weakness, a moment where we hurt someone, or ourselves, in a way that has left a deep, dark mark on our soul's fabric. You have tried to wash it out. You have tried to cover it up. You have tried to pretend it isn't there. But in your quietest moments, you can still feel its presence. A cold spot, a place of shame that you believe makes you unworthy of love, of success, of peace. This Piscean solvent is the water of unconditional love. It is the one substance in the universe that can truly wash away shame. It moved through your energy field last night, and it worked on that specific stain. It did not erase the memory. The lesson you learned from that mistake is yours to keep forever. It is a pearl of great price. But the solvent did erase the shame. It neutralized the poison of self-recrimination that has been seeping from that old wound for years. It has separated the memory from the charge. The event is now just a fact in your story, not a judgment on your character. You may experience this as a sudden emotional distance from that memory. You might think of it and, for the first time, not feel that familiar, sickening lurch in your stomach. You might feel a kind of gentle sadness, a compassion for the person you were when you made that choice, but not the sharp, cutting edge of shame. This is the miracle. This is the grace. You have been forgiven. Not by some external God or authority, but by the universe itself, which sees that you have carried the burden long enough. You have learned all you can from the pain of that mistake. To carry it any longer is not noble. It is redundant. Your soul is ready to move on, and now it can. So, the contracts are void. The phantom identity is gone. The stain of shame has been lifted. You are standing at a threshold, cleaner, lighter, and more free than you have been in years, perhaps in your entire life. But this new state is delicate. Like a newborn foal, it needs to be strengthened. The old habits of thought, the old patterns of behavior, will try to rush back in to fill the empty space. The mind abhors a vacuum. So your work, over the next 48 to 72 hours, is to consciously anchor this new freedom, to claim it and make it real in your life. This is not passive. It is an act of co-creation. And so, I am going to offer you a simple 3-day practice to consecrate this shift, to fully embody the grace you have been given. Tonight, on this first day, you will perform a declaration of release. It is simple, but it is powerful. Before you sleep, find a simple glass and fill it with clean water. Hold the glass in both hands and bring it close to your lips. The water is a physical representation of the Piscean Ocean, a conduit for this energy. Close your eyes and feel the weight of the specific burden you are ready to release. Choose one of the things we have spoken of: the old contract, the ghost identity, the deep stain. Give it a name, just for yourself. It does not have to be spoken aloud. Then, whisper it into the water. Speak the release. Your words will charge the water with your intention. You might say, "I release the contract that said I had to earn love through self-sacrifice." Or, "I release the identity of the one who was left behind." Or simply, "I release the shame of my past." Feel the energy of that burden leaving your body, leaving your mind, and entering the water. See it dissolving into the liquid. The water is now holding it for you. Then, take this glass of water outside. If you cannot go outside, go to a sink. Pour the water onto the earth or down the drain. As you pour it, say these words aloud. "I return this to the great water. It is no longer mine to carry." Watch it go. Feel the finality of it. And then, walk away without looking back. That is all for tonight. You have made your conscious declaration. Tomorrow, the second day, is about honoring the empty space. This is perhaps the most difficult part of the practice. Your only task for tomorrow is to do nothing. Specifically, to do nothing to fill the space that has been created. For at least 10 minutes, find a place where you can be quiet and undisturbed. Sit in silence. Your mind, accustomed to the old weight, will panic. It will rush to find a new problem, a new anxiety, a new thing to worry about. It will try to rebuild the old structure because it is familiar. Your job is not to fight the mind. It is simply to notice this tendency and gently, compassionately, refuse to engage. Your task is to feel the absence. Feel the lightness in your shoulders where the burden used to be. Feel the quiet in your gut where the anxiety used to churn. Feel the space around you. It might feel strange, even uncomfortable, like a room in your house where a large piece of furniture has been removed. You keep looking at the empty space on the floor, the clean spot on the carpet. Stay with that feeling. Witness the clean slate. This is the feeling of freedom, and it takes time to get used to. By sitting in the emptiness without trying to fill it, you are telling the universe, "I accept this gift. I am making room for something new." You are allowing the ground of your being to settle after the great flood has receded. On the third day, the day after tomorrow, you will take the first step. You will make the first new footprint on the clean shore. After honoring the release and witnessing the emptiness, you must now anchor this new reality with a conscious action. The action itself should be small, but it must be something that the old you, the you who was living under the terms of the dissolved contract, would not have permitted themselves to do. It must be an act of gentle, authentic rebellion against your own past limitations. Perhaps you will send the text message you have been too afraid to send. Perhaps you will say no to a request you would normally have said yes to out of obligation. Perhaps you will buy yourself the flowers you were always waiting for someone else to give you. Perhaps you will take an hour in the middle of the day to simply walk in nature, for no reason other than your own pleasure. The scale of the act does not matter. What matters is the intention behind it. It must be an action born purely from this new, unburdened space, an action that says, "I am no longer governed by the old laws." This single small act is a seed. You are planting it in the fertile ground of your new freedom. It is a declaration in the physical world that the reset is real and you are living by its truth now. Release, witness, act. This is the sacred trinity that will take this immense cosmic gift and weave it into the fabric of your daily life. Do not underestimate the power of these simple steps. You are working with one of the most profound currents of grace that will move through our world in this era. By aligning your intention and your action with it, you are magnifying its effect in your own life 100-fold. You did not find this message by accident. You did not click on it out of idle curiosity. Something in you, the part of you that has been praying for release, for an end to the struggle, recognized the frequency of this event before I even spoke a word. The whisper in your soul that has been saying, "This is not it. There has to be another way." That whisper was the homing beacon that drew this transmission to you. Your readiness called it in. Your exhaustion with the old story became the key that unlocked this gate for you. So do not see this as something that happened to you. See it as something that happened for you, in response to the deepest longing of your heart. To accept this kind of freedom is a profound act of courage. It is often easier to stay in a familiar prison than to step out into the vast, unknown landscape of a new life. It takes courage to let go of the stories that have defined you, even the painful ones. It takes courage to disappoint the people who were comfortable with the older, more limited version of you. And it takes courage to trust that you are worthy of this much grace. This is not an easy peace that has been offered to you. It is a brave peace. It is a wild peace. And it will ask more of you, not less. It will ask you to show up in your life with a level of honesty and authenticity that the old burdens made impossible. It will ask you to become the person you were always meant to be, before the contracts were signed and the ghosts moved in. If this message has found its home in your heart, if you have felt the truth of these words in your body, I invite you to make one final, public declaration. Go to the space below this video, and in your own time, write these 4 simple words. The ink is gone. You do not need to share your story. You do not need to explain the details. Just this simple statement. This declaration is not for me. It is for you. It is the final seal on your practice of release. It is an anchor you are setting in the digital world, a testament to the shift that has occurred in your inner world. And know this, your declaration is a gift to everyone else who will come here. Someone reading these words days or weeks or months from now, lost and in pain, will see your declaration beneath mine, and they will see the one beneath yours, and they will feel a ripple of courage. They will understand that they are not alone in this process. Your courage will become their permission slip. I have spent many hours in stillness, listening to these currents, studying the ancient maps of the sky, and translating the whispers of the water so that this transmission could be clear and true for you, arriving at the precise moment you were ready to receive it. It is my deepest honor to serve as a guide through these sacred passages. If you wish to continue to walk this path with me, to be alerted when the next celestial gate is about to open, then I invite you to subscribe to this channel and to press the notification bell. In that way, our paths will cross again when the time is right. Now take a deep breath. Feel the clean, empty space inside you. It is yours. It has been returned to you. Walk in courage. You are free.